I've taken a bit of a break lately, and it's lucky that I did because we have heaps to cover in today's video, which is all in regards to the new Ranked season. Between the Noxian themed Season 1 of Ranked that we just saw and the newly unveiled Ionian themed Season 2, lots has changed, and I'm not just talking about Bowser's haircut.
Yo, Bows, nice cut. Thanks. You guys wanna see a full view? Damn, what are we thinking, guys? How are we thinking? I'm feeling good. This is fresh cut. Right in time for the summer vacation. What if I rock up to a beach with this haircut, you know? The babes will flock around me. What is your barber's real job? It don't look that bad. I'm feeling good.
I love you, but what the fuck is this pineapple haircut?
Playing in the background is the Ionian themed animated cinematic, which I have to say I found quite beautiful and prefaced a lot of what's to come for the new season. And if you were confused why a lot of the champions in the Ionian video weren't Ionian, I'm here to clear that up too. In Split 1, the ranked theme was very heavily Noxus, and all the skins relating to the theme were champions from there. San Uzar Maud, a Noxian Warlord, Grand Reckoning Draven, the Noxian Gladiatorial Executioner, Talon, a thief raised in the Noxian Underbelly, Scion, an undead juggernaut that fights for Noxus, Rel, a rebel who defies Noxus, and Darius, the Might of Noxus. So people thought it was a bit odd to see most of the champions in the Ionian video advertising the new season theme weren't Ionian at all. In the cinematic, I believe the first champion shown is the new one, Yunara, who is of Ionian origin. And if you look really closely, you can see what is a silhouette of Ivern next. But the one following is Ashe, who is obviously Freljordian. The next and main focus of the video is then Xin Zhao, who currently serves Demacia but is from Ionia. Then of course, the moneymaker Lux, another Demacian. She almost made it a year without a new skin, so I wasn't surprised to see her here, even though Hui, an actual Ionian, would have fit this skin slot very nicely considering how he only has his release skin from 2023. Now if you agree with this sentiment or have any other champion suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. And while you're scrolling down there, consider subscribing. We're getting closer to this year's goal of 200k and I work really hard on these videos, so a sub would go a long way, and just thank you for being here. Next, Shen can then be seen overlooking an Ionian village, but is also absent from the skin line funnily enough. Although his most recent skin was 3 honors at the start of the year, it wasn't a purchasable one and was standalone, so I wouldn't have found it odd if they did include Shen here, and like Hui, feel like he really could have fit the event. Then Morgana is shown briefly, who was birthed from a celestial entity on Mount Targon. I guess her overall thematic and appearance fits Spirit Blossom well, but she's got nothing to do with Ionia. But one who has lots to do with Ionia is Irelia, the next champion shown and one of the receivers alongside Ashe to be getting a legendary skin. But the champions shown and mentioned here aren't the only ones with new Spirit Blossom skins coming out, who aren't from Ionia. Alongside these is Varus, who is a Darkin, Bard, who is from Mount Targon, and Zyra, who is Ishtali. A lot of people were confused why we're going so heavily from Noxus and Noxian champions to Ionia and willy-nilly champions, because people thought the cinematic felt a bit like a skin ad with random champions that had nothing to do with Ionia flying around the place. But this point was clarified by Medlar, who spoke up in a dev blog, which will be linked in the description, who spoke on the champions traveling to Ionia for the Spirit Blossom Festival. But I still can't help but feel Hui would have fit this thematic better than giving Lux her 20th skin. I think that's right, we're up to 20 skins now. Either way, we're kind of going through the same issue that the Noxus skins faced, and there's a few corners being cut. Firstly, I can't help but fear with how good of a job Riot does normally with their splash arts that the Ivern one is a bit lackluster. I've watched splash art process before, and usually artists do a whole range of poses or positions which are then decided on, so it's odd that they chose this one. But that's not even the worst part about this Ivern skin. Spirit Blossom Ivern meet Grand Reckoning Alistar, your brother in glorified Chromaness. As we can see in these comparison images, Spirit Blossom Ivern is literally just a recolor, which is a massive missed opportunity because of the low amount of skins he has, and how well this champion fits the Spirit Blossom theme all around. The actual most significant change is the flower on Daisy's head is now a Spirit Blossom flower. There isn't even a unique backing animation. Some of the spells, however, are quite nice, but I can't help but feel if he received the Alistar treatment and get pulled. Don't know how they didn't learn from the last time. Hopefully not though, because this skin definitely has potential, but I think it needs a at least a revision first. But Ivern players weren't the only ones with things left to be desired from their champion's new skin. Although this one is much nicer than Ivern, Spirit Blossom Irelia, the receiver of the legendary skin, doesn't actually fit the criteria of what a legendary skin is, especially when you stack it up next to Spirit Blossom Ash, the receiver of the other legendary skin, which we'll get into in a second. Firstly, the things that are great about the Irelia skin. Starting off, no one is arguing that the model is great. Very reminiscent of Spirit Blossom Riven with the horns, but I'd argue the thematic fits Irelia better. She also has these little puddles under her feet as she walks around, which I just thought was a really cool touch. Secondly, very sick recall. I can't believe how far they've come from the very first recall animation being where Darius would raise his axe above his head. And third, and probably my favorite thing about the skin, is the W. Nothing else to say other than it just looks really cool and fits the skin really well. Maybe even one of the best looking basic ability animations I have seen, in fact. But aside from those limited number of things, that's it. And it's a legendary skin. This is definitely closer to a really nice epic skin. When we compare that to modern and recent legendaries such as Primordian Aatrox, we can see where it falls short. Aatrox's whole model basically moves different, but Irelia's has the same Q, same auto, same E, and I'm pretty sure even the home guard is the same. Now let's link this back to Ashe, the receiver of the other legendary. It's plain to see how beautiful this skin is. I mean, the flurry animation is really cool, and how her bow changes adds such an interesting element to the skin. But there is a reason Ashe gets all this attention on her legendary while Irelia's could have passed as an epic. According to Skin Spotlights, Ashe was actually touted to be released as the next Exalted skin, which explains why her bow changes. He even shows that in the game files the model is marked as second form, and then shows that there were new Ashe turrets to go along with her Exalted skin as well. I guess they changed the skin tier after the Mordekaiser backlash, which makes me think of an interesting point. There was a time in this skin's development when Riot would have been okay with or tried to charge the Exalted price for it, but then they settled on 1820 RP. Is that actually how they view Exalted skins? Are they really just glorified legendaries? They charge 20 bucks for this, but can charge hundreds and hundreds for other ones of them. This also gives a good explanation for why the Ashe legendary is actually good across the board and high effort compared to Irelia's skin, because it was supposed to sell for 250 bucks. But still, aside from Ivern, the skins are good and the rest of the event is shaping up to be as well. I'm sure you've all seen by now, but we're getting a new Summoner's Rift theme. There are gameplay changes, and we're also getting a new game mode, as Riot speaks about in this dev update. First, let's cover what they're changing in the second split, because there's actually a decent amount that's definitely going to shake up the game. Probably the most notable change off the rip is Atakan, who will be leaving his two old forms behind, Voracious and Ruinous, for just the one, Thornbound. After slaying Atakan, the team will not only get the flowers like we get now, but all the flowers that are left on the map will also be absorbed by the slaying team. They also receive a new spiritual purification buff for the rest of the game that slows and damages nearby enemies on champion kill. Also, Void Grubs are going down to spawning once per game, and it's going to be a little later so players can focus more on laning. They are also moving Rift Herald spawn later at 15 minutes and making it a little riskier of an objective to take, as he's actually going to hurt now. He or she. Next, to sway players from kind of breaking the way the game is played, only junglers will have access to Smite in Champion Select, and supports automatically spawn in with World Atlas. In Riot's words, quote, "We're trying to reduce certain types of trolling and oops, my team doesn't have Smite lol." And lastly, I didn't really see this coming as it's kinda iconic, but grey screen is getting axed for a spectator UI when you die. I think it's still going to be greyish, but a little bit more colorized. I think I read that somewhere anyway. They are also adding killstreak sound effects, just like the ones you hear in Valorant on quick succession kills. Froxon did say this sound plays for takedown participation, so I don't even think you need to get the kill, but I could be wrong. Now for some of my favorite changes, grief detection. I don't know about you guys, but I don't often care if someone is inting. It's just when people give up and start typing that the game starts to suck to play. As well as updating grief detection systems, they are also going to show you the name of the offender when you get report feedback, which is going to make reporting actually feel like it does something if you can see the direct result of their punishment, which is so good. Now let's jump into the new mode. It's called Brawl and is a 5v5 mode set on this brand new custom map set in Bandle City of the Yordles that looks very reminiscent of everyone's beloved Twisted Treeline. The objective is basically just guide your minions into this big portal here and fight those who are in your way. Seems to be a much more simplified and fast-paced ARAM, although I read in a Q&A from the devs that you can recall and heal unlike ARAM. Speaking of that Q&A, someone asked the best bug they ran into when programming the map, and Flock said that Cassante could permakill someone by ulting them off the map, which just sounds like Summoner's Rift anyway. It's designed to be a lot more accessible style of League that encourages new players who just want to learn micro before tackling the complexities of Summoner's Rift, and games should go for around 10 minutes, making it a perfect warm-up mode. The skins team then jumps in and explains the skins we just spoke about, but also introduce a new type of skins called variety skins, which are once-off standalones, and so far I have to say these look quite good. I think there have been 2 shown so far, which are High Noon Yorick and Pool Party Twitch. I would assume their goal for this is the ability to spread skins more evenly across champions without having to give slots in main skin lines to less popular champions to appease players. That's what my business thoughts are anyway. But I have to say, I quite like that idea, especially if the skins are actual higher quality than just some filler skins we've seen recently. Oh, and I forgot to say the biggest change to League moving forward, and honestly the only real thing that matters this video is Riot is changing Gragas's W ability name from Drunken Rage to Raucous Rage to align with age rating standards. And Sloppy Walrus was not happy, voicing his disapproval on Twitter. Anyway, it's been so good having you guys here with me, and I'll see you in another news video very, very soon. Bye!